In a recent video, I asked for your help and suggestions in trying to come up with a nice guitar finish for this Les Paul style guitar kit from StewMac. I'd like to say thank you for your input and suggestions on finishes for this thing, and let me tell you, there was a lot of good ones, a lot of nice colors and different combinations, and it was hard to decide which one to do. So I've decided I'm going to go with a tobacco burst. I decided to use the Nitro Cellulose color tone lacquers. Now I did buy the colors for the tobacco burst 3-tone colors, but I don't know if I'm going to use all three or just make it a 2-tone with just the vintage amber and the tobacco brown. I don't know yet if I'm going to add the sunburst black or not. We'll see once I get there. I am going to be using this clear satin clear coat, and I got some sanding sealer over here that I will start with the sanding sealer on the body and the back of the neck. Before I spray on the sanding sealer, I went ahead and taped up the control cavities in the back there and the neck route right here, neck pocket, and the end of the neck right here where it goes into the pocket, because I don't want to get any sanding sealer or anything on here, because when I glue this in I want it to be wood to wood. Now I'm also going to tape up the fretboard. I cut a little piece of this foam off here also and put it in the hole here for the truss rod so I can avoid getting any sanding sealer or lacquer in there as well. Now I'm going over the back of the body with this sanding pad here with some 320 grit sandpaper, and then I'll probably go up to like a 600 grit just to get it nice and smooth. I went from 320 to 600. Now I'm going to go with 1000 grit sandpaper and just go over the back. Get it nice and smooth, and then we're going to add the sanding sealer. Now because this front has this contour on here and this very thin maple veneer, I'm not going to use a flat, hard sanding pad or block like this. I'm going to use this 220 grit sanding pad because it's bendable, and I'm just going to go like this with the grain and just hit the top with this very lightly. And I'm going to hit the contours of the sides with the 220 grit sanding pad as well. I'll do the front of the headstock also with the 220 sanding pad very lightly, because that is that very thin veneer on there. You can see it. I'm doing what the instructions say and put the lacquer can in some very hot tap water. I got it in a bag so I don't mess up the label or anything. And it's just sitting in there. I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes. And let's put on the first coat. I'm out here. I don't have any kind of fancy spray booth or anything like that. But what I do have is an old stool, a Lazy Susan, and a lot of ventilation. I've got a few coats of the sanding sealer on the body and on the neck. Now I'm going to let it dry overnight. Well, it's the next morning and the sanding sealer has dried overnight. Now I'm going to prep the body and the neck for the tobacco burst finish on the face. I'm going to put a picture up here, and that's the look I'm kind of going for right there. I like that look with the back and sides of the natural mahogany wood. And I'm just going to be doing the face of the body with the tobacco burst finish. And also I'm going to do the headstock face right here with the tobacco burst finish. If you want any information on that Les Paul style guitar kit from StewMac like the one I'm doing in this video, I'll leave a link down in the description. So right now I'm going to tape off the back and sides of the body and the binding here and get this thing ready to paint. I have the body all taped up, and I have the neck all taped up. So I'm just going to be putting the tobacco burst finish right here and on the cover or the front of the guitar body. Now I'm going to take some 2000 grit sandpaper and then just lightly go over the top of this veneer, very lightly, clean it off and get it ready for the first coat of the amber lacquer. Now I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little nervous in attempting this tobacco burst finish using these spray cans because this was a gift from my wife for my birthday and I don't want to mess it up. Do you know how many times I've done a burst finish on a guitar? Huh? Do you? This will be my first. I have my can of vintage amber lacquer warming up in the hot water there. And we're going to go over here and I'm going to do the face of the headstock first. Here goes the first coat of vintage amber. Here is the headstock with the vintage amber. Now I'm going to take the tobacco brown and try to spray it at this type of angle right off the side of the headstock right here, just to put a little shadow around the edge of the headstock. Now let's try the body. That's the first coat of the vintage amber on the body, and I'm going to let that dry for about 20 minutes and I'm going to put another light coat. Now I'm going to add the tobacco brown to the body. And that's what the body looks like. Well, I think the face of the headstock come out pretty nice. So now what I'm going to do is take off all this tape. I'm going to still leave the tape around the bottom here where it's going to connect to the guitar when I glue it in. I'm going to keep that there and take all the rest off and see how it looks and get ready to add the clear coat. I went over the back with 1000 grit sandpaper and I'm getting ready for the clear coat. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off of the body and just make sure the back is nice and sanded with 1000 grit sandpaper, and then I'll prep this up for the clear coat also. What I'm going to do is let this dry for a few hours, then I'll have to take a little razor blade and just clean up around the binding before I add the clear coat. I'm going to add the first coat of the clear satin lacquer to the neck. And if you would like to know how I build my cigar box guitars step by step, check out the Cigar Box Guitar Pro Builder's Workshop at southernfireguitars.com. Link in the description. Now my first coat of clear satin on the body. Now here's what you didn't see in the video. The first time I went to paint the face of the headstock using the vintage amber, the finish went on beautiful. And I looked at it and, well, the problem you have out here painting among the trees, I got a little something in the headstock. So what I did was, what you shouldn't do, is took my finger and tried to get it out. and I made a little white mark in the headstock that brought the finish down to the wood. So then I said, well, let me go ahead and try the body. So I painted the body. Vintage amber, went out beautiful. And I wasn't going to use the black, but I thought, well, let me try the black, and I'll try to go around the edge of the guitar face and put a little black around the outside. The black was going on good. I warmed it up in the hot water, was spraying good. All of a sudden I got a gob of splatter that come out all over the body. Well, after the black splatters all over the face of the guitar that I was painting and ruining the finish, my first reaction was but then I found out that you can use this fingernail polish remover, 100% pure acetone from Wally World, and it takes the lacquer right off back down to the wood. So that's what I did. I took the complete finish off the body and the neck and just redid it. The next time on the body, instead of using the black, I didn't even use the black, I just went to the tobacco brown around the outside. And it came out really nice. So just keep that in mind if you ever use this color tone clear colored lacquers, that if you do mess up, no big deal. Just get a little rag, some of this, and wipe it right off and start again. One more thing about this color tone lacquer. In the instructions book, right there on page 8, it says right here, if you can see that, test on scrap. Conducting a test on a piece of scrap wood will help you to achieve the desired results. I read that and I said, do you know what this stuff costs? Even my wife said, try it first on a scrap piece of wood. Pfft, I should have tried it on a scrap piece of wood. I hate it when she's right. The neck is now clamped into the pocket. Now we wait. Now the kit came with these chrome tuners right here, but I wanted to add black tuners. I think that would look a little better on this guitar, so I bought a set of Wilkinson black tuners. I need to put these little bushings into these little holes here, and I should have put something in the holes before I put the finish on, because I can see I got some lacquer in all the holes there. So I'm just going to take this little file and try to get some of that out of there so that these will go in smoothly. Here's my ground wire right there. Well, I didn't want to bore you and videotape myself putting the strings on and everything, but I got it all strung up, intonated and tuned up, and it came out beautiful. Here's a look. I am very happy with the way this thing came out. I just love it. I think this thing came out great for my first time ever doing a burst finish, but I would like to know what you think. Tell me down there in the comments. And I know what you're thinking, it sure is purty, but can you get some screaming tunes out of it? Let's see. I think this thing came out really good. If you can remember the picture that I showed originally right here, that is the style I was going for, and I think I got pretty close. Now let's hear what this thing sounds like. Let's try it on the neck pickup. Let's try both pickups. And the bridge pickup, or the bridge pickup. That's pretty good. Good. Sounds like a Les Paul to me. Now let's try this thing with a little hot sauce, playing along to a tune I recorded. This Les Paul kit was fun and a little challenging because I've never done the burst finish before. But let me know what you think. What do you think it looks like? What do you think it sounds like? Tell me down there in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and do leave a comment. And if you'd like to see how I build my cigar box guitars step by step, just like the ones I sell on my website, check out the Cigar Box Guitar Pro Builders Workshop at southernfireguitars.com. Link in the description. Oh yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, just click the button down there in the corner and just get it over with, man. From the backwoods, my name's Michael, and I'll see you in the next one.